And welcome back to Hannity. British officials are calling it an apparent terrorist attack motivated by radical Islamists. Two men brutally killed a British soldier on the streets of South London near a military barracks. That happened earlier today in broad daylight. We want to warn you, the images we're about to show you are very disturbing. Here's how all of this unfolded. Now, two men attacked the British soldier with meat cleavers and knives, viciously killing him. One of the suspects, still carrying a weapon and with his hands covered in the victim's blood, approached somebody on the street holding a camera, and he said this, and you can see the blood on his hands.
Fight them as they fight us, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I apologise that women had to witness this today, but in our lands, our women have to see the same. You people will never be safe. Remove your governments, they don't care about you.
All right, the man is then seen walking back toward the other suspect, casually walking past the body of the victim that is then laying in the street. Police arrived soon after and shot both of these men. Witnesses said that they had tried to attack the officers, who then had to open fire. The suspects are currently being treated at a local hospital. Joining me now with reactions, syndicated columnist and author Michelle Malkin, also radio talk show host Leslie Marshall. Guys, good to see you. Welcome back.
Good to see you, Sean. Hi.
You know, I did notice that the Prime Minister, David Cameron, did say that this was a terrorist attack. Now, we know, Michelle, that they apparently shouted Allahu Akbar, and we're saying that we swear by Almighty Allah we're not going to stop fighting you. Why do I doubt we would have said that in this country?
Well, I agree with you. I think it's because political correctness in so many ways has been the handmaiden of Islamic terrorism, not only in this country, but in many PC countries around the world. I'm glad that David Cameron spoke bluntly about it, because what do you need to have? Neon lights that say Islamic Jihad, Islamic Jihad. I mean, duh. They were screaming at the top of their lungs, Allahu Akbar, and repeatedly swore in the name of Allah that they would continue to fight against us. And they talked repeatedly in the video later in the clip about how this is what God would have wanted as they traipsed around the body of this innocent British soldier. It's barbaric, it's evil, we need to call it what it is. And in large part, unfortunately, in British culture, among the progressives there, they've brought it on themselves in some ways because of lax deportation policies and an unwillingness to screen out and profile Islamic militants who are now doing this in a homegrown manner on British soil. It's tragic.
And also, it does bring into question gun laws if the soldier had been able to protect himself and defend himself, which the people all over the media in this country bragging about the fact, well, people don't have guns in England.
Yeah, well, you know who did have a gun? One of the assailants had a pistol.
Yeah, he did.
And everyone else around them was unarmed completely.
Mm-hmm. Leslie, the official position right now of the United States of America to this day is that when we had, 13 people killed, 32 people injured at Fort Hood, the official position of this administration, when Major Hassan was screaming Allahu Akbar before he went on this shooting rampage, that this was workplace violence. Is it wrong in this country that we don't recognize and call things what they are?
I don't think it's, quite frankly, I didn't agree with that. I did feel that that was a terrorist attack, and I felt it was obvious. And what bothers me is that we really get into semantics. What happened in Fort Hood, lives were lost. What happened today, that's somebody's son, that's somebody's brother, a grandson, a friend. And Michelle, I really think that it's terrible for anybody to say that any political group in Great Britain or here brought murder upon ourselves. Murderers are murderers. These people are murderers. When he's talking there, Sean, what is so chilling is it looks like he's wearing red gloves, and that's a young man's blood who died on the street in broad daylight at the hands of these murderers. Are they terrorists? Does it matter that they're terrorists? What's the difference between a mass murderer and a terrorist?
Yes,
what's the difference? What's the difference in Osama bin Laden? What's the difference in an Adolf Hitler? These are butchers. These are mass murderers, and they need to be punished accordingly.
You sound like Hillary Clinton. What difference does it make? You sound like Hillary Clinton. It is not word games to call things what they are. The only people who play word games when it comes to identifying Islamic militant terrorism are you and your ilk. People in the Obama administration who still refuse to call Fort Hood Islamic violence, even
Did I just say, Michelle, that I thought Fort Hood was a terrorist attack?
Let me
So
let
do
me
not
finish.
do not put
Let me
words in my
finish.
mouth. But do not put words in my mouth.
Nadal has
I said it was a terrorist
briefed
attack,
all of his
and I did not agree with
military
that.
officials. Good. Well, I'm glad. Better late than never. The problem is that
No,
you had
it's
these
not
military
late. I
officials
said it
in
when it
our
happened,
own
Michelle.
Pentagon,
Pay attention.
in our own Pentagon, who ignored him when he cited chapter and verse of the Quran, talking about the Quranic perspective on Muslims in the U.S. military. And the problem is that those kind of PC policies, lax immigration policies, refusal to do Islamic militant profiling has, yes, led to dead bodies in America and around the world. The sooner we reckon with it, the safer we'll be.
Leslie?
Can I respond to that? Thank you, Sean. First of all, Michelle, I think it's very interesting that you propose to run the entire United Kingdom and the British government, which David Cameron really is in charge of doing right now. Secondly, David Cameron didn't say this was a terrorist attack. His exact words were, we believe it to be a terrorist attack. We have to, of course, have an investigation, and all the facts have to come in. And that has to be, in my opinion, in any government. I don't live in the UK. I live in the United States.
Hello.
But unlike you just did with me and liberals, I will never take a paintbrush and make a broad sweeping generalization of a religion, a broad sweeping generalization of a political group or parties or entities or leaders or
Leslie, they were quoted as saying, we swear by Almighty Allah that we'll never stop fighting you, and apparently shouting Allahu Akbar the whole time. Isn't that a pretty good indication?
Well, apparently it's
yes,
not
but
enough.
in Boston, did they do that? And they said it was a suspected terrorist attack once they had all the facts in, and there was no yelling of any kind, and still 4 people lost their lives.
From Daniel Pearl to Nick Berg.
All right, guys, thank you very much.
None of us have forgotten.
Carl Rove is here.